Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and in this edition, we're back on our virtual set. As you can see, we'll be using this set for probably 4th of July because it's 4th of July flavor.
Oh, yes, it is, yes.
So on my immediate left, we have the lovely Teresa Toigo. She's a real sweetie.
Hello.
And her blue hair. Are you going to wear your hat? Are you going to take it out? What are you going to do?
No, it's my hair's messed up. So.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. And affectionately, our aging rocker Emmett. So we are going to just do another Asaph Cafe. Emmett, you want to start us off?
Heavenly Father, and bless our time together, fascinating in Jesus' name.
And I'm going to do the traditional Burt Bacharach piece.
Yep.
I think I'm going to do it. Let's try it again.
The spin dry, the fascinating dryer.
I know the song now.
Well, yeah, his version.
The spinning dryer.
Go ahead, Emmett.
It's fascinating to spin it now. Yes, we love the spinning dryer. Fascinating now. The dryer, it dances for us today. It's a fascinating thing.
And verse 2.
The dryer, it spins for us today.
You guys can pretend this is a new hit here, you know?
The spinning dryer, it spins for us all day today. Spin around inside the spinning dryer today. The dryer, it spins. The dryer, it's fascinating to spin in the spinning dryer. Fascinating! Spinning dryer, it dances for us today. Oh, it's fascinating. It's fascinating, yep.
Thanks. A new version of this tune.
Yes. Isn't that fascinating?
Well, that's good. I don't think you guys ever sang that all the way through before,
No.
so this is a first. I'm going to have fun playing the tape back after the show.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
It'll be fun. So how you been, Teresa?
Pretty good. I found this album, the original Broadway cast recording of Hair.
Oh, that's exciting. The hippie musical?
Yes.
Cool.
And I went to karaoke, and I sang Hair. And when it got to the part of spaghetti, I said, "Blue spaghetti."
Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I went on a Harley ride.
Cool.
Well, tell me about that Harley ride.
Well, we went to, my friend Lyle and I, he owns a Harley, and we went to Flathead Lake. And
So you went all the way out there on his bike?
Yeah. It was 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and we had lunch at a Mexican restaurant. And then coming back, it started to rain, so we had to pull over.
I see.
And this is on Memorial Day. And then we went to the Thousand Buddhas in Arlie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to talk. I'm just playing.
Well, that's kind of the end of the story. It
Okay.
was, Lyle, it was the most fun I've had in 40 years. I haven't been on a Harley, well, except for the last time, 40 years. My husband and I owned a Harley, a Sportster, and we sold it for a down payment on a house. We were 18 years old. By the time I was 19, I owned 2 homes.
Yep.
Yeah. And married twice.
Well, I joined the club. I've been married twice, too. I'm not proud of that at all. Let's talk about that for a second. And Emmett, I know you've never been married. But,
No.
Well, the first marriage for me, it doesn't count. It only lasted 4 days.
Yeah.
And that was 15 years ago, so. I don't really count that, but it's on my record.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I meet someone or talk to someone, I have to let them know. You know, the reason I say that, some people, when they have a bad thing happen, they don't share that
Yeah.
with a person until they invest a lot of time getting to know the person.
Exactly.
And then when that person finds out, they might change their mind afterwards.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. I've had a young lady say, well, you've been married twice. I don't think I'd want to go out with a guy that's been married twice. So what I've learned from that is let them know up front. If someone's batting their eye, let them know up front, and if they still talk to you, then you know you got a friend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to invest any more time in someone, then they find out I've been married twice and then they leave. It's a waste of time. I had that happen. And I don't take that personal. That's just, hey, some people are like that. Some people just can't have relationships with someone who's been married once and divorced, much less twice. I didn't ask for it. It just happened. No control. Nothing I did wrong.
I don't share parts of my life with.
Well, no, I'm not saying with
anybody.
anybody. I don't mean anybody. I'm just saying if someone is interested in you, in my opinion, of course, that may not work for everybody. I let them know. I said, look, if you want to get to know me, you need to know I've been married twice, and then they can decide right on the spot. And if they decide they want to talk to you after that, then you got a friend. That's the way I see it. Now everybody's different, so you know what works for one person may not work for another. I understand that. But anyway, getting back to that, yeah, she on day 4 at that time, she just came home crying, and when I asked her what was wrong, she said she didn't want to be married anymore.
How long did you know her before you married her?
Just a few months. I know, I take responsibility. I can even laugh about it because it was just,
Well,
it was just one of those things. I was tired of being alone at the time, and those things happen.
Well, my
Yeah.
first marriage lasted 3 weeks.
Well, at least you got 3 weeks. I got 4 days.
I knew him for a week, and it was the first person. I was 16, and nobody ever. It was my first boyfriend, and nobody ever told me that they loved me, and so I thought nobody's ever going to tell me that again. So I better marry him. And then my daughter was born exactly 9 months after we were married.
I can relate to that. You know, you think no one's going to ever love you, right? And somebody comes around and you instantly fall from it because you think that's going to be your last chance.
Yeah.
And you know, well, Emmett, you read my autobiography. I wrote about that. I was tired of wishing I could be married and stuff. Tired of battling hormone issues when they creep in. And so this, I won't mention her name on TV, but she pops up, and I thought to myself, this might be my last chance. I was 41 at the time. And then 4 days later, when she left, I was crushed.
I know. I read your autobiography.
I was 41
and
years old when that happened to me. You guys can keep talking.
I was just
No,
sitting there.
I play.
Yeah.
I know we've talked a lot. But,
Oh no, I know. I can laugh about it now. That was over 15 years ago. My goodness.
Well, how many girlfriends did you have before that?
I think I can count them on one hand.
Really?
Yeah, I was pretty much alone most of my life. And you know, it's interesting. You know, when you watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let me put it this way. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, I said I was going to wait till marriage, right? Because all my friends were up there doing the wild thing. I want to explain it clean because it's a family show. They're doing the wild thing, right? And I said I was going to save myself from marriage. But I thought I'd be married, you know, when I was in my early 20s, like all my other friends were married and having kids and families and stuff. I didn't get married till I was 41 years old. I had to wait till I was 41 before I did the wild thing. And it was kind of humbling. It's not like we were like all the time, because I thought we'd have our whole life together. So I didn't really give that a second thought. Just married, because I thought, okay, I got my whole life to worry about those kind of things.
Well,
And day 4, she left. She came home crying, and you know, when she was packing, I said, you know, you don't have to do this because we already made this commitment. And she insisted on leaving, so I just let her go. We didn't fight or argue anything. I approached it from an understanding point of view, because the worst thing you can do is have someone invest emotional time in something they don't want to do. Because then when they leave a second time, it gets worse because you invested that time. So I nipped it in the bud and said, well, if you're going to leave, I wish you the best. She got in her car and drove off and left. Never came back.
well, I have something to say. If somebody doesn't ask me, Jimmy Page, you're the one.
Isn't he married?
I don't know. Jimmy, if you're married, then,
Well, you don't want to go out
if
with
you're
someone
not-
married.
you're missing out on a good thing.
Yeah.
Love story.
Yeah, I've never been married. I kind of like just living on my own, by myself, doing my things my way.
That's one of the fun things about being single. You want to walk around the house in your underwear, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
You don't have to answer nobody. You can go out and do whatever you want. You can,
Yeah.
you can stay up late.
Oh yeah.
You have to think of another person when you get married. You have to kind of put your desires on the back burner, so to speak.
Well, I have a male roommate and I have a grandson I live with. So
Yeah, I know
I have
that.
to get totally dressed before I leave my bedroom.
Yeah. See, and I had that freedom. So, walk around the house like Tom Cruise in that movie. Did you see Risky Business when he
No,
was
I never
young?
did.
Tom Cruise was young in real life, so he's playing this teenager. His parents decide to go out of town and leave him the house, and you leave a house with a teenager, that's an invitation to trouble.
It is, yeah.
Because as soon as the parents drove off and Tom Cruise had that big old house to himself, he comes sliding out of his underwear, and he slid across in front of the camera. Now take this time. It was
Yeah,
so
I love
funny.
that, yeah.
I remember that sing. What was he singing?
I don't know the name of that song. They were just playing the music.
Oh,
Tom
I know.
Cruise slid in front of the camera. He was wearing his underwear in the house, pretending he was playing the guitar. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Just the backside. You saw the backside of him. And that's just something a teenager would do.
I think he was singing, I like that old-fashioned rock and roll.
That's the song, yeah, the old-fashioned rock and roll. It was just such a funny scene.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I think I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't expecting that. But that's something a teenager would do.
Oh, yeah.
When parents leave, that teenager would turn that house into Animal House like that movie with John Belushi.
I know my daughter did.
Yeah, there's not a teenager on the planet that wouldn't do that if they had a whole house to themselves. Like big 4-bedroom house. Hey, come on over, let's have pizza. And you get to listen to loud rock music and stuff. So, that's the nature of kids. But that was such a funny movie. But
Yeah.
when I get those moments, I wouldn't mind being married again, but God, her twice. If I were to get married again, I don't want no more divorce.
Wait a minute, I thought it was 3 times.
No, 2 times for me. I've been married twice.
Oh.
The first time was the...
Oh, it doesn't count?
Well, I don't count 4 days. You can't count that. I have to still tell that. I mean, technically, it counts. And then 6 years later, when I married the second one, the family didn't approve, as you guys know, and after a year and a half, I let her go. It was too hard on her. She'd cry in the middle of the night because, family just didn't accept the marriage. And that's hard for some people. So I just let her go home. But, if you're gonna marry and family don't like it, if you're one of those people that got a rhinoceros hide would tell that family where to go, then you might, you know what I mean. Then of course it'll work. So, but I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is, if I get married again, I want to get it right. No more divorce. Well, at least we didn't fight. At least I can say that. It wasn't dysfunctional, just lack of support. The second one. But I wouldn't mind. There's part of me, you like being alone, but there's a part of me I wouldn't mind, because I like cooking anyway.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind cooking for that person.
Yeah.
Watching movies and things like that. That's kind of fun.
You can do that with a friend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can, but it's not like you can do it all the time.
Yeah.
They have to go on with their lives and, stuff like that too. Just a thought. So
I don't even like
never been
roommates.
married, huh?
Nope, I never
No,
have.
I don't like roommates either. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Roommates, that is some of the worst things you could do, is live with people, because
Exactly.
their cleaning habits are terrible.
Oh, I got the perfect roommate.
Well,
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
not saying everybody. I'm just saying in general that, like the roommates I've had, is like roommates from from outer space. I mean,
Yeah.
they get to bringing their girlfriends over and wanting to stay overnight, and they're not married. Oh,
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do that at my house.
Yeah.
No, not you.
I know,
There's-
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
like, okay, here's a good example. I think I told you guys this story when I was in my birth mom's house for 3 years. She left me in care of it. And my mom lived in this really beautiful, big 4-bedroom house. And she just left for a few years and left me in charge. And some of the friends I grew up with, they wanted to come and stay with me. And I didn't have a problem with that aspect of it, because I'm the type of person, I'll give you my last shirt
Yeah.
on my back, my food. But they saw it as when they wanted to bring their girls in there and stay overnight and consummate. I'm like, no.
No, yeah.
I don't have a problem with a lady coming over and watching a movie or even snuggling or something, but there has to be a boundary. But the friends I grew up with, they're like hardcore thugs. They just want
Yeah.
to get in there and just, wreak havoc. And I told them, no. I said, look, this ain't no Motel 6.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I said, what if the tables were turned? You think your parents let me go to your home and bring them girls in there and sleep overnight? No. Oh, Asaph, you just ain't being cool. I said, it ain't got nothing to do with cool.
Exactly.
You guys ain't married. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So they get all mad at me and walk out, right? Asaph just ain't cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Besides, I think oh, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's
I think roommate situations can ruin a friendship because, with friends, you can get together, maybe spend the night occasionally or watch a movie, but if you live together, you have to put up with each other's idiosyncrasies, and I'm not changing my ways. Like, I mean, if I had a roommate, they'd have to accept the fact that I love Rush Limbaugh in the morning.
Yeah.
They would have to accept the fact that I love toddler tunes and I love watching Sprout TV if there's something good, or Caillou, and I do my dishes on the way, and it just the friction would get, and people can fight over the dishes, and I don't want to ruin a friendship by having them live with me, and I like my own company just the way it is, really.
Yeah. And I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can see with someone like you two, that's different. Like family, friends.
Yeah.
But I mean people in general, it's just tough to have.
But you two, I don't understand.
No, I'm talking about you two guys.
Yeah.
But I mean like people that, I'm gonna stop there. People like normal friends, they just, they want to take a overkill on the freedom and the
Yeah.
And the guys I grew up with, they always wanted to sneak their girlfriends in and do whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, no, this is not a Motel 6.
Yeah.
well, my mom, she worked 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister brought us up,
Mm-hmm.
and this was in the 60s and the 70s.
Right.
So our house was the party house. I come home, and they're drying pot in the
I know. See,
oven.
just
That's stuff like that.
See,
Yeah.
that wouldn't sit well with me.
Nor would it. Yeah, because I am a drug-free home. Just.
I know. Just certain things. Like I collect stuffed animals, and I like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like to just live basic and simple.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in such a way where I have to worry about the authorities coming to my home.
Exactly.
Wrecking my reputation.
Boy, isn't
and
that the
stuff.
truth? Yeah.
And roommates, God,
Yeah.
they just forget. They get brain dumb.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
gun dumb, like that movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Gun dumbs. You remember that expression?
No, I don't think I saw
I never
that show.
watched it. Yeah.
Well, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's a combination of real people and cartoons. And so the detective grabbed this big bazooka cartoon gun, right? He was going after the bad guys. And when he fires it at the bad guys, the cartoon bullets come out, and they get lost trying to find the bad guys. And so the detective called them Gundams. I just thought it was a funny line. And that's what I use that expression for roommates. Some of them, they get stupid. They don't want to wash dishes. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's
I have
horrible.
the very best roommate. He washes the dishes. He's very clean. He's very quiet.
Yeah, but a lot of
We
them aren't.
have 2
Yeah.
TVs, so he has his TV. We've got 2 bathrooms. One in
That's
there,
perfect.
so-
That's a perfect
Yeah.
situation right there.
Yeah. But like your closest friends, that's a different matter. Like if they have a problem, like say they get evicted or
Yeah.
house
Yeah, you
burns
can
down.
have them temporarily stay, but not permanently, because that could ruin a best friendship.
Yeah, that reminds me of the movie The Flintstones with John Goodman. They had a scene where Barney Rubble lost his job, and so he and Betty rented their house out so they could make some money, so they were staying with Fred and Wilma, and everything was cool at first, but then stuff starts souring because...
Was that in the cartoon series?
No, the movie.
It was also in the cartoon series because I saw something similar. And they were best friends, but they finally they had to be roommates, and it just really was eating each other.
Yeah, and that's what happened with in the movie too.
Yeah.
I like that movie, The Flintstones. I think it was just such a great film to me. It may not be Academy Award winning, like a regular movie, but I thought it was a fun movie to watch.
We saw that together.
Yes, we did. And it's just a fun film. But yeah, they had their friends over, and it started souring, and because Fred Flintstone gets the promotion, and really Barney should have got that promotion. He's the one that scored the perfect test, and he switched tests so Fred could get it because Fred gave Barney the money to adopt his son. So Barney wanted to make it up to Fred, so he switches the test. And so that's how Fred got the promotion.
Yeah.
But it went to his head. So he started acting like he was a somebody. Finally, Barney says, "That does it." Well, first Fred, they're at this fancy restaurant. And Barney took a waiter's job there. And so Fred's like, they're talking about the job success. He goes, "Get me a clean spoon." Barney went on and said, "That does it. The only reason you got that job is I switched tests with you." But that was a fun movie. But when they were living together, they were having tension and issues. So that's
why I like living on my own, really. Just fun without a roommate.
Exception of your wife or husband.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
that's different. But
you'd have to fall really in love and have the same temperament. And if I were to get married, she'd have to love the same things I do and accept me as I am and not try to change me.
And see, that's the problem. That's interesting you say that. And not even marriage, but relationships. When people get in there, they'd be trying to fix. Like, for example, these bad boy types, like these biker types. And I don't want to pick on them. I'm just going to use them as an illustration. They're all handsome, right? All buff, chiseled,
Not all
got
of them.
tattoos, And so this girl sees this biker type. She said, "I'm going to tame him."
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They get in these relationships with these bad boys, they call them. Like Luke Perry on 90210, remember that TV show?
No.
And so the girls get up there and say, I'm going to tame this guy and fix him. See, it never works.
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah.
So you shouldn't get into a relationship or a marriage trying to change somebody.
No, you have to accept them as they are.
It's tough enough changing yourself, But that's what they do. I had a situation once. This older lady called herself liking me, right? And I have my stuffed animals and stuff. And she used to come over and visit. There was nothing intimate or anything. She was just getting to know me. Like, she'd come over and visit and stuff. She used to drive like Speed Racer in the cars. This lady was something like late 60s at the time. I was only like 40 something. But she didn't look her age. And
She was a cougar.
Yeah, and she came over, and she would come over and visit, right? And I had my stuffed animals all out in my home, because I had a bigger place at that time. And she'd always get to acting up, because she didn't like those stuffed animals. I said, well, look, these stuffed animals are just stuff I got from concerts over there. Just, they're important to me. And then she well, they make me sneeze. They didn't make her sneeze. She was just trying to get control, right? Because if they'd have made her sneeze, she'd have started sneezing when she first used to come over. She just didn't like the stuffed animals. She didn't like this so-called guy she's trying to sink her hooks into with these stuffed animals. And one day she came over and said, "You're going to have to choose between me and them stuffed animals." That wasn't a hard choice.
Yeah.
I said, well, have a nice life.
Exactly.
And she walked out of my home and she never came back.
Yeah.
I wasn't about to give up my stuffed animals because there's a principle involved. If you give into that one time, then when the next thing comes up 2 months later, you're going to be battling that again, see?
Well, nobody better expect me to give up my Grateful Dead and my Led Zeppelin poem.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, see, that's my point. It's like Emmett says, accept the person as they are. Don't be going up there trying to change them, mold them into your image.
Yeah.
And so that's what this lady did. She was a nice lady, but no, I wasn't about to give up my stuffed animals. It was just the principle. I know they're just teddy bears, no big deal, but I don't think you want to give in to somebody's demand because then they have control.
Exactly.
You give up your power and you're in trouble.
You are in very much big trouble,
because something will come up a month later and it'll come up again, and so. But she did. She gave me an ultimatum.
Wow.
I said, I'm not giving up my stuffed animals. I'm not putting them away. And she stormed out of my house.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I just let her go. That was that.
Hey, did you get your piano?
Yes, I did. You have to come by and see it sometime.
Oh,
Next time you do, I'll play for you there.
okay.
I'm not doing much playing here. I'm just doing chords and stuff, but
We might get a piano at my house too.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Does your roommate play?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He does play.
Yeah. He played on your show.
That's right. I remember. I'm brain dead. I've been up since before the birds this
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
Oh, that's horrible, yeah.
Oh, I know I was going to tell Teresa. My latest news story, I told Emmett, but you might be able to relate, was on Afro Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my latest story on Wake Up Missoula. I did a story on Afro Sheen. Really comical story. And I started off, did you see the movie Coming to America with Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy?
yeah.
They used to have what was called the Jerry curl. I'll explain that in a bit.
Yeah.
And they had a scene where there was this man and these two ladies. This is how I started off the story. They were sitting back on the couch, right? And they had their little Jerry curl, their little perm, and their stuff in their hair. And when they sat up from the couch, there was 3 circles on the couch, like these stains, these little circle stains where their head was. And I thought that was such an amusing, funny scene in Coming to America. And that's how I started off that news program. And I talked about the Afro craze in the 70s when African American people all had their afros, including me.
Not
Yeah.
just
And I used to get in the mirror.
African-Americans.
I used to get in the mirror with Afro Sheen be spraying my head.
We had in my yearbook. The kids had such big afros that it didn't fit in the little. Their hair.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. Some.
And we had this one guy, and he would walk like this, and his hair would go like this.
Yeah.
He was white, and his hair would go.
Well, that was the Afro craze. And
Yeah.
some had
I liked
these
it.
big old afros. I had a little medium-sized one, but you think you're like Kuta Kinte spraying your hair.
Oh, have you watched Roots?
Not the new Roots.
haven't.
I don't have the cable access at home.
I don't even know they made a new Roots.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, but it's just an updated version from the original. You see, Roots is 40 years old.
Yeah.
Time just flies.
Yeah.
That original version, Alex Haley Roots, LeVar Burton, the actor, that came out 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, the actors of that time, I had read that some of them would go home at night in tears
Yeah, yeah.
after shooting those scenes.
Yeah,
Stressed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know they're trained professional actors and had to play these roles, but it was hard for them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Chuck Connors in particular, because he played a really gruesome character.
Mm-hmm.
He stands up for right in The Rifleman, but he and Sandy Duncan, I think, had the hardest time as actors doing that movie.
Uh-huh.
According to what I read about them, they'd go home and they would be in tears at night, crying, even though they had to play these nasty characters to make that work.
Yeah, yeah.
And that must be hard on an actor when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get into that character that they're not.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, they've got this new Roots that's out this week, in fact.
Mm.
It's the same thing as the original, just more
Yeah,
modern.
yeah, yeah.
And they're adding more scenes, like plantation scenes and things
Yeah.
like that they didn't have then.
Yeah. Wasn't it based on a novel?
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
Alex Haley's novel. It chronicles actually Alex Haley's life,
Oh,
his descendants,
Yeah, it's
and
a
stuff
true
like
story.
that. Yeah, it was a true story.
amazing.
But yeah, when you watch that original Roots, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what your nationality is, you'd have to have a heart of stone to not be moved by that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a difficult movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure for the next generation, they did this remake for the next generation because the first one would be outdated by today's standards for the young generation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they did it.
Well, it's good that they pass it on.
Yeah, they're
to
just
younger
passing it on. They're not
kids.
changing anything. They're just making
Yeah.
better sets, making it more relatable to the younger generation. So I think it'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that original movie, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
I can't imagine.
Wasn't it a mini-series? I thought, yeah.
that's what they're doing again, kind of a mini-series. They're not changing anything.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Just more modern sets
Uh-huh.
and things. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine being kidnapped from your home from one country and taken to another
Yeah.
as a young person?
Mm-hmm.
That must be devastating.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that happened to what was it? Daniel and his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Old Testament.
Yes,
I
yes.
think they were snatched from their homeland,
Mhm.
taken into Babylon. taught the Babylonian language and the culture. But they stayed true to God anyway. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Now, I know Roots wasn't necessarily tackling the spiritual aspect. They were just telling Alex Haley's descendant story about what that was like. That must have been horrible.
Yeah.
But at least they had a happy ending at the end.
Oh, don't tell me the ending because I don't remember.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay. Oh,
I want to see this new one.
Okay, well, I don't know if the new one will have the same ending, but I won't say anything. But that was tough to watch. Very tough to watch.
The only other thing I can think of that would be as hard would be being the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I think...
Well, it was tough enough watching The Pianist, that movie about the Holocaust. With Adrian Brody. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
I never saw that movie.
It was really good.
I would recommend it. It's called The Pianist. It's based on Władysław Spielman's life, just like Alex Haley and Roots. Władysław Spielman was a concert pianist. He was a Jewish concert pianist. And in those days, they used to play piano live over the radio in Poland. It was live on the spot. They don't do that anymore in the piano world, but that's the way it was at that time. When the Nazis took over Poland, the first thing they did was ban that classical music from going on the radio waves. And so the movie chronicles Władysław Spielman's concert pianist life. And of course, after World War II ended, he goes back to his concert playing. But what that man went through in those 5 years of that war, oh my goodness. Yikes.
Whenever I think I've got it bad, I just have to think about how, I wasn't in the Holocaust.
I know. I have a friend, a personal friend I know personally that survived Auschwitz. Oh my goodness. Yikes. Talk about problems. Sweetest lady, and I used to give her daughter music lessons when her daughter was like a little girl. And this lady, she would tell me what that was like going through that, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
I thought I had problems like you're talking about. That was horrible. It's just scary what man is capable.
Oh, it is, yes.
It really is, when you think about it.
Without God, absolutely.
I know. And what's even more scary is that any one of us are capable of doing something like that.
We are, yeah.
I know we try to control our, animalistic bad nature side, but I think every person has a bad side to them.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that Star Trek episode.
Yes.
They had this scene, you know how you got your good side and your bad side?
Yeah.
Well, they had this scene where when Captain Kirk beamed up to the ship, it split his good and his bad side in half. So there were two Captain Kirks. The good side, the bad side, and that bad side, oh my goodness. Since there was nothing to contain the bad side, it would wreak havoc all over the Enterprise. It was beating people up, punching them, it was attacking people, and the yeoman scratched it in the face with her sharp nails to get that thing up off her when it tried to attack her. And so that's how Spock was able to figure out that there were two entities on this ship. The good Captain Kirk and the dark side. That was an interesting episode.
I saw
I liked it as a kid, but once I got more into theology, I didn't like that show anymore because they kept saying that bad side is something you all need for command. You need the bad side when you finish up. Wrong.
There may be some truth in that as far as while we live here on the earth. As far the Bible talks about the bad and the good nature.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying Star Trek was talking about that. When we get to heaven, it ain't gonna be no bad.
Yeah, but
you have no bad tendencies and things like that. But in the meantime, there's that side that we have to deal with. The Apostle Paul talked about that.
Yeah, but we shouldn't have the bad side. It was inherited from Adam, and this idea that Captain Kirk couldn't command without it, and he was weak without his bad side, that makes no sense. He would have been a saint.
I understand that, but it was science fiction.
Yeah, I know.
And the good Captain Kirk was getting physically weak.
That's the problem.
Because he didn't have the bad attributes that make him Captain Kirk, even though the good controls the bad, so to speak. So Spock had to figure out how to put those two Captain Kirks together to make one whole person. But you're right. Theologically, I know it's incorrect theologically. I agree with you, but from a human point of view, I can see where that would work. It was an interesting episode.
It was good.
I mean, that bad Captain Kirk was like Dr. Smith on Lost in Space. He was a coward. He bullied people, but he was a coward. And a traitor, and just all those bad attributes that people have.
Mhm.
Walking around in that single body, just all bad. It was awful.
Uh,
Yikes.
You know what's funny? When I don't know why, but when I dress really nice, I act nicer, and when I dress like
Yeah.
this, I tend to act a little wild.
Well, I think you look fine just the way
Yeah.
you are. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Got my Guns N' Roses shirt on.
Yeah.
No, I love Guns N' Roses.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine? When we were talking about the bad side, I brought that up to make a point about how bad people can be. They don't control that in a sense. Like when mankind had the Holocaust and mankind had all the other wars. Oh, it's awful.
And history repeats itself.
Yeah, it does.
So,
And hopefully, history will never repeat that Holocaust. Oh my goodness. That would be so horrible.
well, it
to
might
have
happen
to-
in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That was bad enough. And if you had known this lady the way I did, because she was a personal friend, this lady lost her family because of the Holocaust. Oh, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That is just, I can't even process that.
Yeah.
I can't process that you see your whole family, your brothers and sisters, and your parents all destroyed, wiped out. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
She was lucky enough to escape because her parents were able to make arrangements for this one child in the family to escape into Poland and some of the other parts. As a little child, they were smuggling her kind of thing until she got out of Europe. That must have been horrible. Just horrible. Well, anyway, thanks for this apple juice here. I'm going to
welcome.
drink some of it here. I hope it didn't set you back too much.
No. I get paid
Oh.
tomorrow anyway.
Money! Okay, I know whose door I'm going to be knocking on tomorrow. No, I'm playing. But yeah, it's scary what mankind's capable of, so hopefully, that will never repeat itself.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But anyway. So tell me, so let's talk about something delightful. Tell me something else delightful. You got your Guns N' Roses t-shirt and your,
And
what
my
is it?
hair.
hair. Where did you find that?
Okay. I work at the senior center, so I get half off. So I got
And
this
so
for
that's
a
where that was at
quarter.
the senior center? Let me have the album. I'll see if it'll show up on camera. It probably won't. Let's see. Well, we can't, have it
Yeah,
close up.
50 cents.
You bought this for 50
No, I
cents?
got it for a quarter.
Yeah, this is
I'm going to get a turntable just because of that.
This is
album.
the original musical right here.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you got to find there, I think.
And
Collector's item.
and they're having a $3 bag sale. They said forever. All
Oh
the
yeah, the
clothes
$3. Is that the $3 bag? Yeah, I got some goodies last week and the week before
and a
that.
pair of shoes. Did you get a pair of shoes?
No, I found some slippers.
Okay.
You'll have to see them sometime. They're like these ant slippers with these.
Oh, I saw
antlers.
those.
Yeah, I wound up
Yeah.
taking those. I took them. When I saw, 'em, I was like, okay, that's
So
got
I
Asaph's name written
get
on
a
it.
bag for $1.50.
Good for you. Good for you. That's cool.
Shoes and a bag of clothes for $1.50.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
way cool. You'd be surprised what you find in those thrift stores and things like that. You can find some really good stuff, like
Oh, yeah.
Van Heusen shirts and the good stuff, because even rich people donate.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they look up and get into those stores like that, and you might find it.
We sold an entire set of china from Japan
Really?
for $7.
It's just amazing, yeah. People wonder why they're always so broke. I always say that people have caviar taste with tuna money. And so, you go into like what do you call them stores, like, not Walgreens, but those fancy stores, Herberger's, for example.
Yeah.
And one pair of pants is like $40, $50, and you wonder why people don't have any money.
Yeah.
When you can go into a thrift store, like in this case with the $3 for the bag, you can get like 20 pair of pants. You can shove them all in a bag there. You find them.
And I know how to roll them tight.
I do
Stuff
too.
them in there.
I have a friend named Valerie that showed me how to do that. She said you go like this. He said you just twist it, you roll it.
And then if you're really smart, you'll
Yeah.
put rubber bands on it.
Yeah, and that's all legal too. And I learned how to do that. So when I shopped at that thrift store where you're at, I walked out of there with I think I had like 2 robes. And I rolled them real small, and I had like some pants and some t-shirts and those big ants with the horn slippers and things. I shoved it all in that little bag because they give you these dinky bags, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've gotten sorry.
That's okay.
I've gotten excellent stuff at yard sales. Good
I know, that's
quality,
what
but
I'm
yeah.
see, instead of
So they love
spending
their
20,
sales.
30, $40 for one pair of pants, you can just get frugal and get the same thing. All you do is you gotta wash it.
Yeah, I've gotten even excellent glassware, plateware, and other things, and a china set at yard sales. Yard sales,
Yeah.
if you not always, but I've gotten books. I've
But
gotten all
it's
sorts.
amazing, yeah, I agree with you. It's amazing what you get in those yard sales, you know, and stuff like that, like little knickknacks for your house
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
or good plates, good china, good
Yeah,
coffee cups.
it's
Yeah.
really
Picture.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, speaking of that, you know, at graduation at the university every year they throw out all that stuff because the students can't take it. You go down to the Lewis and Clark Auditorium, they have like 2 big tables. I got a flat screen TV this year.
Cool.
It's sitting in my living room. Right, the next time you come, you have to watch on the flat screen. This is the coolest thing. I mean, and I can put a DVD on the side of that thing. That thing works perfect. I took it home. I just wiped it. I plugged that thing in, and it went ding, and the screen came out. I said, "Oh, bingo!"
Now you got to get cable.
I know.
You're-
But
we
see, I
really
can still.
live it.
I have a converter box, so I can still watch regular. You know, the local channel. They can't do the movies, but I got a bunch of movies anyway. But I can slip the disc in the side of it, so I don't have to use my DVD player if I don't want to. It's amazing.
Now you can donate it to the senior center.
I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it. But my point is, yeah, I got a flat screen TV. You know what else I got? I got 2 lamps. Well, actually 3. And I have them strategically set in the living room. You have to see it. And I got I think it was. Oh yeah, some dishes. There were some pretty cool,
Nice.
fancy looking
Yeah.
glasses with the little designs on them.
Nice.
And I put first I hand washed them all, and after I hand washed them, I put them in the dishwasher, and then go through that cycle. And now I got all these fancy glasses, and you have to see it. I got all these fancy glasses at home. They're about the size of this here. You like those little wide, small. So I don't have to get them big skinny glasses anymore. I can just get these little wide ones and be cool, you know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm
It's
gonna have
amazing.
to excuse myself.
Sure. Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Just
good.
go behind Emmett. Emmett, you
That
just
way,
talk to
right?
me. Yeah, you just
Okay.
talk to me.
Sorry, Emmett.
That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, it's cafe. So.
Well, even one.
No, but I got some really good goodies this year that the students threw out. I got some other
Excellent.
good stuff. But I have to admit, I never got a flat screen TV.
Yeah.
That was the best.
I have
find.
one. Yeah.
Well,
Some
I have
relatives
one
gave it. I
now.
just
You
love
know,
it. I just love that
And
flat
the
screen.
flat screen that I have probably would have cost, I'm guessing, $100 or $200 maybe.
Yeah.
So that was cool to have that. It's in my home.
Wonderful.
When we do the cafe at my home, you'll see it. I'll have it all hooked up and everything.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
Joe said we're gonna do an Asaph Cafe at my home. Now
I
that got that
can't
piano.
wait. I can't.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. You know, one time though, I found a perfectly good lamp when I just moved into another place. I found in the dumpster a perfectly good lamp someone had thrown out and a perfectly good set of coffee cups.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, the carpeting that I currently have in my bathroom,
mhm.
it was literally on. It wasn't inside the dumpster. It was on top,
Wow.
and it was brand new. In fact, it still had the staples. You know how when you buy it in the store and it has the cardboard and the staples. It was a whole bathroom set that somebody had thrown out, brand new, hadn't even been opened yet. And I happened to take the trash out, and I noticed it. I'm like, I'm taking that home.
Yes.
And it wasn't. If it would have been inside the dumpster, that might have been a different.
Yeah.
It was literally on top, just sitting there. I took it home. I took the staples out. I took the cardboard out. And I just laid it out on the floor, and I still have it to this day.
Wonderful.
Brand new. You know the ones that go to the toilet bowl and the other flat carpet that goes in the bathroom, like near the sink and near the door or whatever. That was a real find.
Yeah, cool.
But see, the point that I'm making is, they call it dumpster diving.
Yes.
You would really be surprised what people throw out.
I know.
That you can, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I have found microwave ovens that work perfect.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the good microwaves. And all you do is you take and just we don't use Clorox in a microwave,
Yeah.
but you just take like some nice soap and hot water and you just scrub it clean a couple times and plug it in, and it works.
Exactly, yeah.
And I have found microwaves, I have found televisions, I have found lamps, I have found clothes, I have found, stuff for the house, carpet,
Yeah,
everything. It's just amazing what people throw out.
I know.
And so the point that I was making when I brought this up is you don't have, I can see it if you're going to buy underwear. Okay, that's a different.
Yeah.
Or secondhand underwear. I understand that. But material things, that is cool to be able to find that and save yourself some money.
It is.
We live in a culture that says if you buy something, if it's not brand new, something's wrong with you. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
They had this lady on Oprah, right?
Mm-hmm.
They called her the saving queen or something like that.
The coupon lady?
Coupon-
Yeah.
That lady walked in there. She got about $200 worth of groceries and only paid about $30 for it. Because she had the coupons and she knew how to go about it. And they were showing this on camera,
Mm-hmm.
The clerk's like,
Well, that's a
Scan this.
full-time job.
Well, yeah.
Doing all those coupons.
yeah, well, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're feeding kids. I think
It
she had
is.
a husband, this lady, and just a regular family, and she just figured out how to save money. And we're not talking that cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's buying all that good, like, Green Giant veggies and things like that, all the real expensive stuff. And it was like $200 worth of food. She walked out of that store with $30 and walked out there with those 2 baskets and those cameras rolling.
Yeah.
I looked at that, I was like, I need to be married to something like that.
Yeah, a lot of those, I
You know.
got kind of a program like that, and it worked better in the older days, but they don't do double coupons here in Montana.
Well,
Or
maybe not Montana, but this is a lady in a big city, and it was just an
Yeah.
amazing thing to see this.
Yeah, that's really cool.
She just was frugal.
Mhm.
So, but the point that I'm making is you can get the good stuff
Yeah,
cheap if you just know how to go about it.
yeah.
You
So-
go into a Salvation Army and you're looking for clothes, get Van Heusen, get Perry Ellis. Just look for the name. Take your time and look. You'll find them, and they're in there.
And if you're really in need, I believe I think the Salvation Army gives out vouchers.
Mhm.
for
Well,
free
yeah, but
clothes.
even when you get your voucher, if you know what to look for when you're in a
Sure,
clothing
yeah.
store. Even this outfit I got here. I got this, well, it won't show up very well on camera, but this tie.
That's
Mhm.
nice.
I got this tie for next to nothing. I think this tie was just a matter
Yeah.
of finding it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to borrow that tie. I got some stuff that would match.
All right,
I'm just kidding.
well, you can borrow it if you want. But it probably won't show up on camera, but this whole outfit I got it almost next for nothing. Like the $3 bag thing, or just, well, how I got the majority of my clothes, I think I told this story. They had a program in Billings called the Family Services, where they literally had a warehouse of clothes, like a clothing store, and they would allow you to take 10 free items a week.
Wow.
And I went in there every week for 2.5 years. That's how I got that wardrobe. And when I went in there, I'd be in there for at least an hour or two because I knew what to look for. It was a literal big warehouse.
Wow.
So I would okay, you get 10 items, right? So just get 2 shirts, maybe 2 pair of pants, that's 4. Get a winter jacket, a summer jacket, that's 6. Get maybe a tie, get a pair of shoes, and maybe a casual, something casual, up to 10. And it's amazing. You do that once a week for a couple of years, your wardrobe will grow.
Yeah.
And you see my wardrobe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would
you know,
be perfect if you had kids. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
People think I got $1 million, and I don't. Every stitch of garment I have, I cut corners to get,
Mm-hmm.
including that Johnny Carson jacket that I wear when I do a major concert.
Mm-hmm.
That Johnny Carson jacket. You remember when Johnny Carson had his clothing line?
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
Those jackets were very expensive. One jacket was like $300 or $400.
Yeah.
Because it was a Johnny Carson jacket. And I went in there and found one that fit me. All it took was just my time.
Uh-huh.
I don't wear it often, so.
yeah.
And I found an Arnold Palmer jacket from
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer collection.
Ooh.
And my point is, I knew what to look for. I knew
Uh-huh.
the name brands what to look for. And in a big warehouse, you're gonna find it.
Uh-huh.
So I took my time. People go in these stores and they're always just getting scroungy little checkerboard shirts and t-shirts and jeans, and, just the normal stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna go in there and get some clothes.
Yeah.
Because it would be too expensive otherwise.
Yeah.
And even if I had like money like Liberace, I'd still be frugal. Why do you think rich people have their money?
I don't know.
Get all that money and go spend it like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta learn how to use that money wisely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you don't want to have $1 million and be going off here buying $200 watches every day.
Yeah.
When you can find it in a pawn shop.
Well, I'd be eating pretty well. I mean, I'd be eating the best
eating
steak.
is one thing, but that's not as expensive as clothing.
True.
One pair of pants is $50 or $60.
Yeah, I guess
And then people wonder why they don't have any money. They really wonder why they have no money. And boy, time is breezing by. We got 10 minutes left.
Wow.
Less than 10 minutes.
I'd be buying a lot of fancy wines and beers and that kind of thing, because I'm a Catholic, but yeah.
Well, I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just
Right.
saying that, there are ways to get stuff you
That's
want.
true, that's
and
true.
be frugal in your approach. You
Yeah.
don't have to get in there and get everything
Yeah.
brand new. That's crazy. When you see that flat screen TV,
That'll be fascinating.
It was just sitting there with my name on it. I didn't even notice it at first. I was just looking around like, is that what I think it is? I walked over. It's this flat screen.
Karma.
I don't know about that. It was just a
Karma.
flat screen TV. It had the base on there, and I looked at it. It had all the cables connected and everything. I'm like, I'm taking that home.
So what about a remote?
It had the remote too.
Go.
Way.
It did. It had everything.
Totally cool.
And even if you get say a flat screen that had a remote, you just go to a Radio Shack or something and get a universal remote. And I didn't have to do that. It had the remote, had the batteries and everything. Just, these college kids, they're like 19,
Yeah.
and they get to throwing this stuff out because they can't take it with them when they go home.
And their parents probably gave it to them anyway.
Or their financial aid or something like that,
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get all proud. I can't do that. Hey, I'm a dumpster diver. My name ain't Asaph.
Yep.
And if I find another flat screen TV, it's going home with me. If I look up and find one of them big ones, it's on.
Yep.
The big like 40 inches or whatever, 50, whatever. Yeah, you let me find a flat screen laying around, I'm gonna be like, hello, come to daddy.
Yep.
And I'll take it home and wipe it and dust it off. Cause you just wipe the screen, you wipe the wiring and. You don't have to use soap on it, just gently, and the extension cords and things, and take your time, clean it, and it works. It just works perfectly fine. And now I've been blessed to get that piano last week, so it'll be fun doing the Asaph Cafe with that real piano.
Oh, that will be fascinating.
A real piano, and then I'll do some moonlights, how about Fairleys?
Yep.
Something like that,
That'll be nice for your neighbors. They'll have
they're not
beautiful
complaining.
music.
They're not complaining. They're
No.
like, hey, we like your music, Asaph.
Yep.
So I'm really humbled. Moonlight Sonata.
Wasn't that on a commercial one time, I think, for somewhere? A
Probably.
Merrill Lynch commercial or something?
Probably. But yeah, I get to practice at home. And the way I practice is not the way I perform. So it's good to have a television out, like I say, a movie, and work on scales and slow motion and look at my fingers and get that memorization process.
Why do you have the movie on while you're doing that?
It keeps me company. Like the movie might be 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting in front of a piano with a movie on, by the time the movie's over, I got 2 hours practice.
Oh, fascinating. But how do you pay attention to the movie and do
Because
your
you
skills?
turn the movie way down,
Okay.
where you can barely hear it. Because you were talking about a duration of time. So you
Well,
watch-
that would be interesting if you had Star Trek the motion picture.
yeah,
let's
that's
just say,
about 2 hours.
and you were
you're
just playing this
practicing
and you're
some-
just silent. That would be interesting to look
Yeah,
at.
that's how I-
interesting.
That's how I practice, because if you just sat there with nothing, like they did in the old days, that could be pretty dull.
It does, yeah.
And I said,
remember
I gotta
that,
figure out a way. I know that there's no shortcuts with practicing. So I said to myself years ago, I gotta figure out a way to make this more stimulating. And then the idea hit me. Put a movie on.
Yeah, it is a good idea.
Put a Star Trek film on, literally, and it's like 2 hours long, and I'm doing something like this. Like the first 4 notes of a scale. Something like this, or You know, and you do that for 2 hours over and over. You got 2 hours practice it. Or if you're learning a new song, like let's say, and you just do it slow, like something like this. See something like this, so you can see what you're doing. Isn't that pretty at that speed? This is the nocturne. You know, you might do something like that. Because when you practice, you don't have to practice at normal speed. You just break it down and slow it down and do that a line over and over just to learn it. And this nocturne at this speed is very pretty. See, something like this. Isn't that pretty? And you're learning, see? And you might do that part over and over, and then you do it normal speed. Isn't that pretty? So that's how I practice. Slow motion practice. Break it down. Repetition over and over, like anything else. You do that for 2 hours, and you're gonna have that whole song memorized and then some. And then you do it the next day, 2 hours, and just keep at it. You know, when you get like Liberace, you still practice. You review things, you do it slowly. And on that note, any final things you want to say? We're out of time. Thanks for coming, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Everybody hit the senior center, and they really need somebody on Mondays.
Okay.
So go down and volunteer.
Yeah, Missoula Senior Center, you want to volunteer? You can do that. They'll appreciate that. Roberta's going to be well missed.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be well missed.
Yeah.
Any final words, Emmett?
There were these two, another surreal joke. There were these two dishwashers, and they saw a coffee cup they wanted to splash on. They were splashing around the coffee cup. Two dishwashers, isn't that surreal? Then this one washing machine came along and said, "Oh, I can't see around that." Isn't that funny?
Funny, huh? You know what that reminds me? Remember Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yeah.
Remember Bullwinkle would try to say, "Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit
Oh,
out of my
yeah.
hat." And he pulls out a rhinoceros.
That was
head.
hilarious.
And then when he started getting a little better, instead of pulling out the rhinoceros, he pulls out Rocky.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting better.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by
Yeah, fascinating.
That was funnier. What would I do without you two on this show?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Asaph Cafe, and on my left we have the lovely Teresa Toigo. And anytime you want to be on this show,
Thank
blue
you.
hair, pink hair, brown hair, blonde hair.
It's going to be emerald next time.
Oh, really? I'll be looking forward to
in
that.
about a month or so.
I'll be looking forward to that. And then on my further left we have Affectionately aging rocker Emmett. So it'll be kind of fun. I wish you could put your hair in a spike like you did 20 years ago when you had that.
Yeah, we did it one time, but you know.
Well, you were 20 years younger too. That's a big factor.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's like I couldn't wear the afro anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Your hair
Yeah.
changes as you get
It
older.
does. That's one reason it's
Yeah.
hard to spike up like I used to, because my hair has changed now.
Yeah, when you get physically older, it just changes and you can't
Yeah.
do that stuff anymore. You know, you're like 20, you're looking like a Sinatra with a full head of hair, or an Elvis, right? You get like 40, it starts getting flat. It's part of the aging process.
Yeah.
But anyway, you should have seen me when I did have my afro. I thought I was cool. I used to,
Cool,
I used to
yeah.
get in I had this big round afro. I used to get up there and patting it, spraying afro sheen, getting a mirror all
Did
oily.
you have bell bottoms too?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Platform
Cool.
shoes?
I had platform shoes when I was in high school, and I thought I ruled the school.
Cool.
We'll have to talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
On a future show. Yeah, I did. I had my bell bottoms when I was a freshman in high school. And I thought I was Michael Jackson or
Yeah.
something, you know. Not.
Yeah.
I couldn't sing, dance, spit on stage or
Yeah.
anything like that. So, but yeah, I had bell bottoms. Well, guys, I guess we better sign off here. So thanks for watching us just talk. What, this is like Seinfeld, talk about nothing. No, I like the topics we talk about.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good topics. So until our next show, Maranatha.
Spinning dry.
Well, make yourselves at home, guys. I'll
Alright.
sign up and make some copies. You want to go with me? You can, as far as when we leave at the same time. Or...
You know it's Thursday.
Oh, that's right. You've got that. All right. Well, you guys make yourself at home.